Ukrainian MiG-29s tear through the air 50 meters above the ground. Their twin afterburners roar as they devour the valley at 900 kilometers per hour. On board, Major Andriy Viper Shevchenko and his wingman, Captain Ivan Ghost Petrenko, are just 18 minutes away from releasing their French-made AASM hammer bombs on the nest. This nest is a critical Russian command center responsible for orchestrating the drone attacks that plunged Kharkiv into darkness. Regrettably, the mission is already compromised. At a high altitude, an A-50 spy plane has detected their incursion and reported it to the Hunter, a Su-35S Flanker E, which is currently breaking the sound barrier as it heads their way. And if that wasn't enough, to reach their target, Ukrainian MiG-29s must traverse a nightmare of steel and radio frequencies, an integrated S-400 long-range missile network, agile and lethal Tor M2 short-range batteries, and Krashuka 4 electronic warfare systems capable of rendering their screens useless and blinding their missiles. If they fail, the outcome is clear. A new, larger, and more lethal wave of drones will take off at dawn with the coordinates of hospitals and shelters. There is no plan B. The two MiGs climb to 200 meters, synchronized as one, and turn northeast. They use the Sumy Oblast hills to hide from the radars that are already looking for them. This is not an improvisation. It's a route planned to the millimeter after months of electronic espionage. Now they cross the border. From that moment on, they are intruders in the deadliest stretch of sky on Earth. Every second counts, and a mistake means death. They can't see anything yet, but the Russian network already knows they're here. Deep within Kursk Oblast, a Russian S-400 Triumph missile battalion located 180 kilometers to the north stirs to life. The 92 N6E Gravestone radar, which is a rotating tower as massive as a truck, begins to power up. Its phased array antenna, composed of hundreds of small emitters, begins to scan the horizon without moving a millimeter. It doesn't rotate, it doesn't vibrate, it just emits an invisible wave that sweeps the sky with surgical precision. That tide of radio frequency reaches the Ukrainian MiG-29s as they fly 150 meters above the ground. At that altitude, the radar cannot establish a weapons-grade lock, but it does detect something. A fleeting flash, an anomaly that doesn't fit the background noise. The system flags it, and within seconds, the alert is sent to the integrated Russian air defense network. In the command centers, monitors flicker and coordinates change color. In the air, 80 kilometers from the contact, a Russian Su-30SM patrols at high altitude. Its pilot, a veteran with 20 interception missions under his belt, receives new coordinates on the HUD. He doesn't need to see anything just yet, as the system does the rest. Its Bars-R radar, among the fleet's most potent, can discern a target even when obscured by hills and terrain reflections. It merely needs the prey to show itself for a fleeting second. The Su-30 then banks south, cuts power, and accelerates. The hunt has commenced. The Russian operators don't know exactly what's out there, but they know something is. Something small, fast and dangerous has crossed the border. In the MiGs, the warning detectors go crazy. The pilot, Viper, recognizes the frequency. It's an S-400. No lock, no missile, yet, but they can already smell them. 30 kilometers in front of the MiGs, a Bayraktar TB2 drone is patrolling the air at 5,500 meters. Its MX-15D camera, stabilized with a hawk's eye precision, has been observing the target for more than 4 hours. From inside a camouflaged van on the outskirts of Sumy, the Ukrainian operator scrutinizes every movement on the screen. Trucks are entering and exiting. Generators are powered on. Antennas are being deployed. He has counted 14 Orlan 10 drones taking off from an old barn that was converted into an improvised airbase. Each flight confirms what intelligence had suspected for weeks. That place isn't just a farm, it's the heart of a Russian swarm attack network. But the TB2 isn't just observing, it's also guiding. Its satellite link transmits real-time coordinates to the MiGs, which are approaching at full speed. Every change in the wind, every vehicle moved, every radar that turns on, everything is updated on their screens instantly. Nevertheless, the drone fulfills another more perilous role, that of bait. The Russians despise the TB2. They search for it, track it, and relentlessly hunt it with every resource at their disposal. In doing so, they reveal their positions, and then it occurs. A Panzer S-1 battery hidden among the trees on the outskirts of Yotkino turns on its fire control radar. In a fraction of a second, a microwave pulse shoots across the sky. The radar sweeps the air searching for the intruder drone, not knowing it has just given away its position. The Ukrainian electronic warfare antennas deployed in camouflaged vehicles just beyond the border pick up the signal and triangulate its location. Target confirmed, says a voice on the secure frequency. Inside Viper's MiG, the SPO-15 Burgoza receiver emits a sharp, high-pitched tone. It's a pansier, without a shadow of a doubt. He turns the stick and diverts his course 5 degrees to the east, descending several meters to conceal himself behind a hill. The line of sight to the Russian radar is severed, and with that, the incessant beeping ceases. Silence. But this small maneuver incurs a significant cost. Viper was forced to engage his afterburners for 3 crucial seconds. Any more time and he'd burn through even more vital fuel. The engines roar with increased power to regain their speed. 30 kilometers away, at a passive listening post, a Russian sergeant, who was monitoring a Cold War-era acoustic system, observed the lines on his audio seismograph jump into the red zone. These are microphones buried in the ground, unable to provide precise coordinates, but sufficient to alert the commanding officers. Something large and rapid is drawing near from the southwest. In the underground bunker, the colonel in charge of the sector watches the monitors. The readings confirm the impossible. Hostile air activity detected, southwest direction. Maximum alert. The red warning lights illuminate. Within seconds, radars all over eastern Kursk Oblast come alive. Within the pressurized cockpit of the Russian Su-30SM, the pilot receives a radio message. Acoustic signature confirmed. Vector 240. Descend and accelerate. You are cleared for interception. With a fluid movement, he pushes the throttle levers completely forward, engaging the afterburner detent. Behind him, the twin Saturn AL-31FP engines ignite with a furious roar, injecting fuel directly into the exhaust nozzles, causing the speed indicator to rapidly climb to Mach 1.5. The fighter descends in a perfect arc to 5,000 meters. From this elevated vantage point, he is the hawk that hovers above its prey. Its Barzar radar sweeps the terrain below with devastating power, effectively filtering out the clutter from hills and trees as it searches for 2 small metallic anomalies that are moving far too quickly. On his weapons display, 4 R-77 missiles are shown to be in a ready state, armed and prepared for immediate deployment. Given this closing speed, the intercept calculations are automatic and proven to be lethal. The system provides him with an estimated time of 3 minutes and 40 seconds until the MiGs enter the no-escape zone of his initial missile. Just 15 kilometers from Yotkino, Viper's kneeboard tablet blinks, displaying a navigation alert. Ascent point in 90 seconds. The mission plan is both simple and suicidal. Ascend sharply to 2,500 meters to provide the hammer bombs with their maximum glide range. But to climb is to be exposed, and in this sky, every meter gained is an invitation to die. His SPO-15 receiver is a chaos of tones. The deep pulse of the S-400, the rapid sweep of the Pantsir, multiple search radars painting them, just waiting for them to make a single mistake. He understands that the moment his nose elevates, all those seeking tones will convert into a target lock. Suddenly a voice distorted by static bursts through his earpiece. It's not his wingman's voice, but that of the TB2 operator. Viper, Viper, break left now. Tor M2 active, quadrant 080, located at the tree line. From his van, the operator had spotted the generator of a Tor M2 short-range battery powering on within a dense forest, a location where intelligence reports indicated no such activity. This is the true danger. It's not some outdated Soviet-era system. The Tor acts as a digital, mobile, and autonomous killer, requiring no constant radar lock. From the very moment its operator presses the button, it can acquire, track, and fire its 9 M338 missiles in less than 7 seconds. These missiles are like pit bulls, specifically engineered to hunt down and obliterate targets that fly low and fast amidst the terrain's clutter. Without a moment's hesitation, Viper yanks the stick back into his gut, forcing the jet into a 6G turn that deeply compresses his chest. Yet, in a Russian command bunker some 50 kilometers distant, a colonel with hawk-like eyes observes the MiG's icon straying from its intended path. He grins. Viper's defensive maneuver was not an evasion, it was a conditioned response. The Tor operator had just behaved like a sheepdog, scaring the sheep and forcing it to run directly into the waiting wolf's path. Concurrently, the crew of a longer-range Book M3 battery receives a fresh directive. Its MS-36M radar activates, its antenna extending skyward on a telescopic mast to survey above the tree line. This is the classic SAM trap brought to perfection. To use a short-range system to drive the target right into the open jaws of another. But it's Ghost, his wingman, who sees the trap closing first. In his cockpit, the cacophony of tones from his SPO-15 Burgoza warning receiver suddenly converges into a high-pitched, piercing, unbroken shriek. It's not a pulse, it's a hard lock. A red light with the designation Buckham 3 flashes with an urgency that chills his very blood. Viper, I'm locked. Buck at 9 o'clock. Hard lock. Viper catches sight of it an instant later. The MS-36M radar, a modern electronically scanned array capable of guiding missiles from 70 kilometers away, and they are at 55. In any combat manual, at this distance and with that lock, they are already dead. Running is futile. The 9M317M missile from the book system is considerably faster. There's only one option left, a brutal and suicidal maneuver they practiced in the simulator to the point of exhaustion. Ghost vertical dive now, Viper roars over the radio. Instead of turning to escape the danger, both pilots push their sticks forward, banking sharply towards the threat, descending until the radar altimeter screams out, altitude. They accelerate, pointing their aircraft directly at the radar's source. Viper then slams the countermeasures button. The dispensers on both Ukrainian MiG-29s erupt, spewing rhythmic clouds of chaff, which are fine aluminum fibers designed to create a corridor of false radar echoes. Inside the book command vehicle, the Russian operator watches his console with utter disbelief. What had been a perfect firing solution is now completely flooded with dozens of targets. Firing solution degraded, jamming, the operator shouts. By the time he attempts to switch to manual tracking, it's far too late. The two MiG-29s roar over the forest, so low that their wake rips the leaves from the trees. They have penetrated the book's dead zone, the minimum range below which its missiles cannot arm or maneuver. They have survived, but the cost is astronomical. The violent maneuver has cost them hundreds of meters of altitude and crucial speed. Their plan, to climb to 2,500 meters for the bomb run, has evaporated. Now they are trapped at ground level, with the mission timer well into the red zone and their weapons computers displaying an impossible launch solution. The Book M3 operator, having just recovered from the prior maneuver, spots Ghost as he ascends. His console wails loudly. Target locked. Two 9M317M missiles blast off from the ramp, reaching Mach 4. Inside Ghost's cockpit, the word impact flashes prominently. 16 seconds remain. Ghost climbs vertically, executing a defensive spiral while repeatedly pressing the chaff button. The violent maneuver and the aluminum cloud trick the first missile, making it detonate harmlessly. But the second missile, launched just 3 seconds later, proves to be more intelligent, ignoring the chaff as its processor predicts the spiral pattern. Impact, 4 seconds. With no more tricks left, Ghost reverses the spiral in a brutal 8G maneuver, causing the fuselage to creak and groan. The missile tries to follow the impossible turn, but its energy bleeds off. The proximity fuse detonates 30 meters distant. A shower of shrapnel riddles the MiG's tail. The hydraulic failure alarms flash brightly on the console, yet the powerful engines continue to roar. They have barely escaped the book when the cockpits of both MiGs erupt with a new alarm. The high-pitched squeal of a fighter's radar from 40 kilometers away. The Su-35S pilot has achieved a firm lock-on. He launches 2 fire-and-forget missiles. They are in the air, flying at Mach 4, hunting autonomously. Viper releases a ladder of flares to increase the confusion. The missile's algorithm is saturated. It can't distinguish between the flares, the sun, and the aircraft. It chooses the brightest target, the sun, and gets lost in the sky. But the second missile is smarter. It has learned from the first one's telemetry. It ignores the sun, flares, and locks onto the other MiG's engine heat. Inside Ghost's cockpit, the RWR blares a solid, urgent tone, indicating an imminent impact in 3 seconds. At the last second, Ghost performs a legendary maneuver, almost impossible at that speed, the Cobra. He pulls the stick back with all his strength and at the same time cuts the throttles. The MiG-29 brakes in midair. The nose rises 90 degrees. Its speed drops to almost zero. For a moment, the 18-ton fighter jet hangs suspended motionless in the sky. Its heat signature disappears from the approaching missile's view. The R-77 missile, programmed to intercept a target at Mach 1, roars past the empty space where Ghost should have been positioned. Its proximity fuse, set to find a high-speed target, completely misses the nearly stationary MiG. This critical maneuver alerts the entire network. An S-400 commander notices the opportunity to strike. He can't get a lock on them, but he commands a barrage launch. 448 N6DM missiles ascend, each armed with 180-kilogram warheads. They are not aiming directly at the planes, but rather to create a wall of shrapnel along their escape route. It's a costly maneuver, designed to force them into using their remaining fuel. Viper evaluates the situation. Circumnavigating the barrier would add 40 kilometers, which is impossible due to insufficient fuel. They must pass through it. Both MiGs descend to 50 meters. The S-400 missiles detonate 500 meters overhead. A shower of shrapnel rains down upon them. A piece of shrapnel tears through Viper's wing, but it doesn't strike anything vital. The target is now drawing near. They need 2,500 meters for the bombs to glide. Viper glances at his watch. Only 15 seconds remain until the launch point. Both MIGs climb vertically, trading their last fuel for altitude. 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 meters. The launch computers flash green. Coordinates are locked in. Optimal range is achieved. At exactly 7:01, at the apex of their climb, Viper and Ghost's thumbs hit the launch button. A violent jolt reverberates through the airframes as four 340-kilogram French-made AASM hammer bombs release from the pylons. The very moment they become free, the weapons spring to life. Their folded wings instantly snap open with a metallic clang, enabling them to achieve a perfect glide. A second later, their rear rocket motors burst into life. A 10-second burst of power propels them more than 60 kilometers through the air. The bomb's advanced tri-mode guidance systems activate, starting with GPS. The receivers are actively searching for satellites, yet they only encounter a deafening roar of static. A storm of Russian jamming specifically designed to blind them. However, the bombs anticipated this. Instantly, the system seamlessly switches over to its primary mode, inertial navigation. At the core of every bomb, a set of ring laser gyroscopes, impervious to all outside interference, detects each minute movement. They calculate their position 30 times per second, precisely correcting their trajectory with subtle fin adjustments, driven purely by the laws of physics. As they pierce the veil of interference, the infrared imaging seekers in their noses activate. They aren't just looking for heat, they're looking for the exact thermal shapes the Bayraktar TB2 showed them. The distinct outline of the command building and the satellite antenna's generator. However, the true sophistication, the deadly ingenuity of these weapons, lies not in how they fly or how they perceive, it lies in how they ultimately achieve their lethal objective. It lies in the SJU-64 intelligent fuse. These are not just simple impact fuses, you see. They are in fact detonation brains. Programmable microprocessors connected to high-pressure accelerometers. Each of the four bombs has distinct emission orders. Hammer 1, target the command center, bypassing the first two floors, detonating in the first empty space encountered. Hammer 2, hit the vehicle park with surface detonation upon initial contact. Hammer 3 and 4, safe kill, disregarding the structure, detonating in the basement. At exactly 7:01:15, the first hammer bomb strikes its target. Its hardened steel tip, engineered to hit at 280 meters per second, smashes through the concrete rooftop. The fuse, however, fails to detonate. It waits for 0.015 seconds, and its internal timer precisely positions it in the very center of the command room, which is bustling with operators and servers. Meanwhile, the second hammer takes a completely different trajectory. However, its infrared seeker has not locked onto the building, but instead on the bright signature coming from a fuel tanker's exhaust pipe. Its orders are precise. Engage super quick mode. The very moment the nose's pressure switch registers initial contact with the metal of the truck, even before the process of penetration has a chance to commence, the fuse triggers its detonation. It's not designed to penetrate, it's designed to shatter. The bomb's fragmentation jacket explodes, spraying 6,000 steel fragments in a lethal radius of 35 meters, annihilating anything unarmored. The third hammer strikes the wooden safe house. The algorithm ignores the sound. It punches through floor joists and walls, counting layers until its accelerometer detects the void of the basement. Then, and only then, does it detonate. The fourth hammer missile plunges towards the maintenance warehouse. Its SJU-64 intelligent fuse identifies a large open space inside and switches to airburst mode, detonating precisely 3 meters above the ground for maximal fragment dispersal. The command center doesn't explode, it's vaporized from within. The intermediate levels disappear, causing the upper part of the structure to cave in vertically, squashing server racks, various control stations, and essential communications equipment beneath thousands of tons of its own debris. Within the vehicle park, the fuel truck's detonation generates a 20-meter fireball, engulfing nearby control vans and liquefying their satellite dishes and communication arrays as if they were made of plastic. The safe house folds in on itself, its foundation erased from existence. The warehouse is transformed into a shrapnel-filled hell, obliterating everything within, including 3 Orlan 10 drones that were undergoing repairs on their stands. Hundreds of kilometers away, above Ukraine's skies, the war comes to a halt. 12 Orlan 10 drones, which were simultaneously directing artillery strikes, lose their control signal. Their ground operators cease to exist. Deprived of their human operators, the machines automatically switch to an autonomous return mode. One by one, the drones obediently return to a base that is now nothing more than a column of black smoke and fire ascending into the dawn sky. The entire drone control network for the whole sector, including its command posts, link vans, maintenance facilities, and personnel, have been decapitated, completely annihilated in just 30 seconds of precise and coordinated destruction. From inside Viper's cockpit, as he speeds across the border with Ghost's damaged engine practically welded to his wing, a single mission confirmation light blinks green on his tablet. The mission is accomplished.